Welcome to Inspired for More podcast. I am so happy you're here. My name is Alexandra, and I embarked on a crazy journey of self-discovery over a decade ago. I have built and I continue to grow my multi-7-figure sales organization, and I am insanely passionate about stepping into the very best version of ourselves and letting go of stories that no longer serve us. This podcast is long overdue for me to share with those seeking to expand their life to the next level in health, relationship, career, finances, and spirituality. If you feel any bit inspired by anything in this intro or any episodes to come, just know, if you can be inspired, you are actually meant to inspire others. Now let's dive into an episode. All right, so here we are, episode 1. I am so grateful to be here with you, and I'm so grateful that you pressed play on this very first episode of Inspired for More. And this is something that I had absolutely no intention of creating in 2022, but I always had the intention of creating it. And this is absolutely the lesson for everybody listening in or that press play. Maybe this is the only reason you press play today, was to remind you that those things that you have in the back of your mind that you're like, I'm going to do one day. Oh, I'm going to do that. Or I want to do that. I want to bring my business to the next level. I want to bring my health to the next level. I want to bring my finances to the next level. I want to bring my relationship to the next level. I want to get more spiritually inclined to the next level. I want to get better at my yoga practice. Whatever you're thinking you want to do, this is your invitation to take one step forward today to do it. And I am the perfect example of that because I actually I copyrighted this name, Inspired for More, in 2018. And I had every single intention of creating a podcast eventually. And I just thought to myself, when my kids are maybe older, when my business is at another level, when I get this achievement, when I do that one thing, maybe I'm going to get this thing done. And there's never a perfect time. And what instilled this was, there was two things, okay? So I want to thank every single person that's ever told me, hey, Alex, like if you had a podcast, I would totally listen to it. So thank you and bless you for saying that to me, because those were all little God winks along my path. And the second thing is, one of my best friends called me up the other day. She was like, I was listening to not one of my podcasts, but I was listening to another podcast, and I thought to myself, why the heck doesn't Alex have a podcast? So I want to thank you specifically, Jen. And the thing is that I went to a sales convention 3 weeks ago, and there's something about being around, and this is not unconventional. I've been in the network marketing industry for 11 years now. So this is something that I love. And I love the fact that I'm part of a limitless opportunity, that I get to be around people who are like really excited about the future and be around that. And so this was really all across the board, all different companies, all different kinds of leaders in that convention 3 weeks ago. And something shifted inside of me. And so if you have the opportunity to be at events in person, do it, because something happens energetically when you're around people who are high vibrational. And I know this for a fact because I'm a Tony Robbins. I walked on fire. I've done the things. I love being part of that environment. And so the following day after that convention, I had so many nuggets. I had so much inspiration. I went for my run in the morning, and it's like God was just like pouring into me, telling me like, you got to start this podcast now. You have to start this podcast now. So that's why I'm here today. I'm so happy to be on this journey. And this first episode is really just about, getting to know me. Maybe you know me through our business, maybe you know through me through social media, and my intention is really to spread to spread goodness. And I think that more people than ever need to start spreading their voice. There is so much room for new thought leaders, more than ever before. And what you might not know what I mean by that is people who understand how your thoughts become things. And I can tell you, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about my journey, but I have been a master at visualizing and manifesting the things that I desire. And I look back, and God's had an incredible provision over my life, and He has an incredible provision over your life if you start to connect the dots going backwards. Steve Jobs always says, the founder of Apple always says, you can't connect the dots going forward, you can only connect them going backwards. So that's what today's episode is all about, is just a bit about getting to know me, a little bit how this podcast title has been inspired and what's really influenced my whole entire life, and what I'm all about and what I'm excited to be sharing on these future episodes. Not only is it conversation, like us having a conversation, I'm having a conversation with myself, but I'm having a conversation with you. And I'm really speaking to the older version of myself that could really benefit from all this stuff, because one of the main reasons why I got this started is that I have been spiritually mentored. I've been business mentored. I've been energetically mentored along my path by so many incredible people in my life. And I really feel like this is a part of me giving back and a part of me connecting the dots for other people, because we need more voice and people really realizing that you can absolutely achieve what you desire if you start to let go of the programming that's been programming you, okay? And really stepping into the greatness of yourself. So all this to say, who am I? I am a girl from Canada. So shout out to Canadians listening. And I come from Canada, Ontario, Canada, in a small town called Cornwall, Ontario, 46,000 people in population. I have the most incredible parents. I have, middle-class parents, hard-working parents. All I remember is my mom working 2 jobs to just keep afloat, and barely did. It was always consistently going back into debt. And my father being so incredibly hardworking and working, he's instilled the most hardworking ethic and I'm so blessed to have him in my life. And one thing for sure is that I watched both my parents work so hard, and for that one vacation a year, and to keep afloat and just to keep stacking money to the side and just like doing the things, but not living like a 10 on 10 life. And unfortunately, when I was 9 years old, I remember so vividly, and this is actually what inspired the title of this podcast, is I was 9 years old, and I remember being in the kitchen. I had just gotten new little kittens, and my mom came in the room. It was my mom came in the kitchen. It was 6:30 a.m., and she told me she had a headache. And the life that I knew up until that moment changed. It pivoted. And within instances, she became paralyzed. Within instances, she was in a coma. Within instances, my whole entire life just became a totally different scenario. And thankfully, she's still alive today, but she's unfortunately still paralyzed and placed in a home. And I think that something shifted inside of me that day. It's the 2nd of April, 1997, to be precise. And something really shifted inside of me in terms of, wow, like, I want to live. If God forbid something was to happen in my life, like life is fragile, life is now, life is happening right now. I want to live a life that I want to be inspired for more than just the 9 to 5, more than just the living the 5, like living a 5 mundane life. Like if you want to live a life on a scale of 1 to 10, I don't want to live a 5, I want to live a 10. And so that's really what inspired this podcast title, and being inspired for more. And as I connect the dots going backwards, I look back to being in high school, growing up, doing all the things. And one of the main things that people have always told me is how positive I am. I've always had a positive outlook, because I think to myself, we're so blessed. Today's a gift. It totally is a gift, even though there's going to be challenges. There's going to be things that are going to pop up, but we are so blessed. If you have your health and you're listening to this, you are beyond blessed, and you have no idea how blessed you are. You are the richest person on earth as you're listening to this. If you have your health, and do everything in your possession to be taking care of your health, because it is absolutely the number one thing to get all the rest of the good stuff. So that's definitely one of the main reasons why I take my health in priority, and I take my energy in priority, and I do all the things. But looking at creating this podcast, I was connecting the dots going backwards. And I thought to myself, wow, my father, from the moment that my mom got sick, I just dove myself into hard work. I would deliver bread with my dad at 5:30 a.m. I was like 10, 12, 13, 14 until I started to work on my own. But I would deliver bread on weekends at 5:30 a.m. I would deliver bread to like local convenience stores and grocery stores. And I was basically his sidekick. And he really instilled an incredible hard work ethic into me. And thankfully, when I turned 15, I got a job at a retail store, a fashion retail store, which basically became my home for a long time till I was 27 and walked away from that career, from the fashion career. But I basically worked in retail, worked all my way up. I moved out of my parents' house when I was 18 and pursued fashion marketing and worked my way up. And I'm thankful to say that with that one company, I ended up being the right side of the owners and the CEO. And they were basically priming me to be a future VP within that company. So I feel very, very, very grateful for the journey that I've had. And I look back at my teenage years, and I was working not only that retail job, but I was also working at a gym in the morning. So I would wake up at 4:30, open the gym at 5 a.m., work there till 8:30, go to high school, work till 3:30, go to the retail job, and work till 9 o'clock. So you could consider me basically a workaholic at that time. And I think that I was draining myself out. And maybe some people are listening in and they can feel into that. But I was basically escaping my reality. My reality wasn't all that great. When I think back, my mom was in a wheelchair. She needed assistance being showered. She needed assistance doing certain things. And I was living in that environment. So I would just basically escape it by working. And I've been blessed. I've been blessed to meet so many incredible people along my path that have put so many great seeds in me. And I look back at how my life could have been totally different had I not had certain little angels that came upon my path. And it gets me kind of teary-eyed because I don't even know this lady's name. But when I was 16 and working at that gym in the morning, she came to me and gave me a cassette. And it was The 4 Agreements by Miguel Ruiz, I think. But if you're not familiar with that work, then I encourage you to go Google The 4 Agreements. And basically, the whole thing is about being impeccable with your words, impeccable with your actions, impeccable with the way that you treat things, and just everything is energy. And that it's such amazing foundations that I was instilled. So I remember going back home and spending some time alone at night and literally putting on the cassette tape and listening into that. So that was the foundation of my personal growth. And that started when I was 16. And then it went on to Wayne Dyer. I was not somebody who read books at the time. I never liked books in school. I never liked books in general. And now, funny enough, I have a library of hundreds and hundreds of books on various subjects, but I love it. But this is just to give you a little bit of a background about how my personal growth journey started. So it started with the 4 Agreements from this random stranger at the gym. She was probably in her 60s and gave me this, and probably one of the best gifts she ever gave me in my life. And then it went on to getting in my car, getting my license, and listening to audio of Wayne Dyer. And I would just listen to Wayne Dyer over and over again. If you're not familiar with his work, he's absolutely been a mentor of mine on my spiritual path, and I have so much gratitude. And so this is a great reminder. If you don't have the right people in your sphere right now, that's okay. Okay. And I didn't have the right people. I had friends in my life that didn't aspire for a lot and didn't have big dreams. And I just thought to myself, I visualized myself all the way up my corporate career. By the time I left that corporate job, I was 27 years old, and I remember sitting at a desk. I was basically the producer for all of their online shop. I was 27 years old, and I remember looking around and thinking to myself, I pictured this. I actually visualized that one day I would be managing a team, and I would one day be around kind of glitz and glamour. And as much as it looked like glitz and glamour from the outside looking in, it wasn't really. But the picture that I had in my head was it. And that was all foundations of realizing that I'm more than this human life form. I'm a soul living this human experience. And I've just been fed so much from Wayne Dyer, which really I highly recommend if you don't know him. But all this to go back to say, if you're not around the right circles, which I wasn't necessarily, I didn't have people who were in the 1% of life around me. I came from it doesn't really matter if you do good at school. It's all good. You'll get a job and you just work your way up the ladder and work hard. And I would never be standing here with a multi-7-figure business telling you that I didn't work hard, but I also know so many other things today, and I worked hard. But I also got to a place that today I'm so excited about building that I'm nowhere near where I want to be and where I'm growing, but I have so much gratitude for where I am today and for the foundations of what I've been fed. And I know that you can achieve success and not feel fulfilled and not feel freedom. And this is really what this whole podcast is about. It's really getting to the working hard for something, but also feeling so good with the destinations and the progression and the journey of what you're getting after. Okay. So if you're that person that doesn't necessarily have the right people around you, you can create that. And so I can tell you that from the time I was 18 onwards, I was always listening to audio tapes of Wayne Dyer, 4 Agreements, Tony Robbins. And when I started my network marketing company, I literally started to listen to Jim Rohn on the continuous over and over and over. Jim Rohn is my man. And I think that many people in my industry will say that he has absolutely been one of our biggest mentors. So I would say that these people became my friends. And even though I've never met them physically, which I have the intention of meeting, even though I've been to Tony's events, I haven't met him physically, shook his hand. I know I will one day because I'm putting it out there, and I absolutely will. But most of all, that's the things that I look back and I think to myself, like, it doesn't matter who you're around today. It's about what you're going to be feeding your mind and what's actually feeding you. What kind of energy is around you that you're being pushed towards going forward in your life. So all this to say is that I got on this journey of personal growth very early on, and I was introduced to network marketing while I was working my fashion career, corporate job up the ladder. And I was a hard no. I never visualized myself. I did sales in terms of selling clothes, but I didn't really visualize myself as a salesperson or any of those things. But when I started to look at the business model, I thought, this is brilliant. This is a business opportunity that I have the ability to build as big or as small. And I've got big dreams. I've got big ambitions, and this fits that profile. And so I've been working that business now for 11 years. I'm excited. I'm grateful. I have so much gratitude for where we're heading. And that's one of the main things, is that along with building that business, I mentor people on a daily basis. And this is where this whole podcast has come into play, is really the fact that I have conversations on a daily basis that I'm like, I could totally throw that in a podcast. I could totally throw that in a podcast. And I could totally have these conversations that I'm having individually with other people that I could just bring and extend here on aha moments that we live on a day-to-day basis. And so throughout the last 11 years, I've been building my business. I've been growing myself personally. I've grown myself into a leader. I've spoke on stage at many events, and I'm actually just anticipating right now. I just submitted my script. I'm speaking on stage for the national conference for my company, just upcoming. And that's really what instilled me to start, really getting going with this podcast and really bringing my voice to the front. And I hope that if you have a desire to speak and you have a desire to really share knowledge that you've acquired, step out on the skinny branch. I mean, like I said, there's so much room for everyone to grow. There's not just a room for a little bit of people. We need to smother the world with positivity, smother the world with our knowledge of really you can become what you want, what you desire, what you truly desire. And so I've had ups and downs, and I've realized throughout building my business, there's been places that I've gotten to that were amazing, and I didn't feel fulfilled. And I had actually, I have 2 daughters now. I'm married to the love of my life. He has 3 boys. So we've got a crazy busy life. And I can tell you, I fit this business and I fit my life. And I'm fitting this podcast in the busyness of it all. So it's not going to look perfect. If you're I want to tell you right now, if you're looking to be of service to others, and if you're looking to be successful, it's not always going to be convenient, but it will be absolutely the most fulfilling thing to be pursuing. And life looks messy a lot of the times, but you know what? I'm just committed to doing the action, and doing the action will lead me to the confidence, because once you build the action, the confidence kind of steps more and more into place. So doing the action is definitely important, but most of all, one of the things that I really recognized is that literally as I was building my business, I thought to myself, I got to a place that I felt good about my business, but I didn't feel good about me. And that's really where I brought my spiritual level to a whole other place. And I'm a born again Christian. This happened in the last 2 years. But most of all, when I had my postpartum depression, after my first daughter, it really opened me up to really start centering myself and really start meditating. And meditation has absolutely changed my world. I actually became a certified yoga instructor in 2017. And so that was after I really got awoken to so many great benefits. So you'll be definitely seeing some guided meditations come through on these podcasts. But most of all, I hope that this serves you into feeling your absolute best. And I can't wait to get on this journey with you. And one of the last things that I have to say is and there's no irony in anything. I was talking to a friend today. I had lunch with someone, and I was about to record this first episode prior, and then I ended up recording it after. And she said to me, she was talking about one of her clients. She's actually a naturopath. She heals people with trauma and all these different things and really powerful stuff that she was talking to me about. And this is what I'm going to end with, is that this is all about getting aligned in your energy. Because the more that you get aligned in your energy, the more you can heal parts of yourself that you didn't even know needed healing. And the more that you can heal yourself, the more you're healing the world. And so what my mission is really for all of us to be feeling our most fulfilled, feeling our most free energetically, so that we can really show up and serve the world in a better place. Okay. So on that note, I wish you a blessed day. Thank you for pressing play. And I look forward to episode 2 very soon. Take care. Thank you so much for pressing play today and joining me for an episode of Inspired for More. If you loved anything about this episode, make sure to take a print screen and tag me on your Instagram stories. Or better yet, copy the link of the episode, share it with a friend, make sure to be subscribed to the channel for latest episode drop-ins. And remember, if you can be inspired, you are actually meant to inspire others. I'm wishing you the most incredible and blessed day, and I can't wait to see you on the next episode. Take care.